Ok, bienvenidos a la introducción a my Spanish lab. Okay, once you get set up into my Spanish lab, I just want to go through how I organize it. So let me go to the student view so that you can see not what I see necessarily, but what you see. Okay, and so in my Spanish lab, we have several different tabs up here at the top. Okay. But even before we start, we want to make sure that we have tuned up our browser, that our browser is appropriate. Now, I find this to work great in Chrome. We want to make sure that we disable any pop-up blockers in Chrome. We always want to let it go. We want to set our time zone. Okay. I always find it helpful that my students do the same time zone as I do, and I'm on Arizona time zone. And you can take a tour, kind of like what I'm doing right now, as well as setting up the e-textbook. Now, what you see up at the top, when you first come into my Spanish lab, you're always under today's view. And with today's view, you can see the calendar. Every time you see a clock and it's blue, that means that there's assignments that have been assigned. And when it is red, it means we are past that due date. Okay? So you can read here, it even tells you what some of the icons are. You know, this alarm clock means you have homework to complete. This one means it's past due. Okay. Off to the side, it gives you the welcome message. It also will tell you there are going to be some assignments that I will actually go in and grade and I will comment on. And you will click on instructor comments to be able to read those. Now, in order for them to show me, in order for you to show me that you have read them, there will be a pop-up window that will say that when you click, yes, I have read these comments. Okay, you can see any messages that I may send. I typically send them through Blackboard, but in case I send them through my Spanish lab, you can see that here. And here's where you can see your progress. Okay. In this today's view, there's also the student resource bar. Okay, and that's going to show you things like the user guide. Okay, it shows you a verb chart, which is very helpful, a glossary, the e-text, and any tutorials that are given. And there's other outside resources. Now, the first time you submit a machine-graded activity, the Need Help pull-down button will appear in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And when you need help, you'll be able to click on that and see all the available resources to help improve your grade. Now, here's if you need help getting started, you can click on this link. Okay, assignments. Now, there's two different ways that you can get to your assignments. You can just click on the date. So, for example, we see our first assignments are February 15th. And notice how that automatically moves you to assignments. Okay. Now, it will show you your status. Okay, begin taking it, not started, and it will show you when it's complete. And again, it will give you this window here off to the side showing you when items are due, past due, if they've been submitted, complete, etc. Anytime you see a pencil by an assignment, that means it is not automatically graded by the program, but that I, as the instructor, need to go in and grade that. Okay, so you can scroll down, you'll see you're starting off here in Chapter 1, in Capítulo 1, with a readiness check. And readiness checks are great because they help you to determine what it is that you know in English, so you will better be able to apply it to Spanish. And if you need help in understanding what it is in English, then it will point you towards the necessary tutorials for that. Okay? So you'll see there are some activities. This S here shows that it's in the SAM, the Student Activities Manual. Okay. This obviously is a video, so there'll be some videos and activities to complete. Okay, we have more SAM. And so that's how each date will be. For example, here's the 22nd. I just click on the calendar to bring me. Here's more SAM. Okay, here's a pronunciation video to watch. Okay, here's a personaje nuevo, a little video to watch. And here's an activity that goes along with it. Okay. Then you have quizzes. Okay, starting in week 2, you'll see the grammar quizzes. Okay, and you will have noticed on your plan for each week, it will tell you how many minutes you have. I believe this first group, you only have 5 minutes for each one to complete. They're very short. Okay? Sometimes you have 7 minutes. Sometimes you have 8 minutes. It all depends. Okay, so here we start chapter 2 in week 3. So you have a readiness check again, you have your videos, etc. So you have all that information. But I do not assign everything that is in the textbook. That would take forever. So if you look under course materials, here you will see, that everything that you get when you purchase the book. Now, I did put important documents for the class, and in this folder, you will see I put a copy of the syllabus, the course outline, and then the different rubrics. Now, again, you have all that in Blackboard, and so this is just just copies of that information. Okay, and if I go back, you'll see in Capítulo 1, okay, you'll see the readiness check, the student activities manual, for example, and it will show you the ones that are due and when they are due, but it will show you other ones. So if you need extra practice, these are great to do. And I can see in my grade book if you have done an exercise in which I need to grade, and I will go in and grade that for you. Okay? And so you'll see there's a lot of activities that aren't assigned. I know it seems you're overwhelmed with tons of activities, but there are many that are also not assigned. Okay? And you have video resources. The video resources are divided up into objetivos, which will just show you the objectives. Then the preparación. And again, some of these have been assigned, but you'll notice like this vocabulario, if you need some extra information on vocabulary, you have those in there as well. Okay? Sometimes I just assign like the vocabulario. This has the video activity, but it will also give you the video along with it. Okay? And so you can see, that these have been assigned and some that have not. So you can get extra practice there. Okay? Sorry, let me go back to this, the additional practice. Now, this is where I take a lot of the quizzes from, but you do have other practice. So if you need practice in other areas which have not been assigned, or as a quiz, you can get that additional practice there. But as I said, when they have been assigned, those are your quizzes. Okay? And then finally, there are tutorials. And later on in the semester, I will be assigning these because we get into a little bit more complex grammar issues, or grammar, trying to think of the best word. We get into more complex grammar structures. There we go. Okay. In the beginning, not so much. So I haven't assigned them, but I want you to know that they are here, okay, for you to view if you need some more explanation. So each chapter has that. For example, I can go into chapter 2, and again, I see the readiness check, the student activities manual, video resources, additional practice, and tutorials. And again, at the very beginning, I did not assign these tutorials, but you notice there's quite a few. And the tutorials are not very long. As I bring this up, you'll be able to see this is 3 minutes and 16 seconds, so they're not long. But as I go into the last chapter, for example, and I believe chapter 4 as well, here you'll see that the tutorials will be assigned because, again, we're getting into more complex structures. But if you have never had Spanish before, I encourage you to take advantage of those tutorials and those beginning chapters. Okay, grades. Here's where you will find your grade book. Okay, and they will be per chapter. Okay. And so, for example, the online activities, I will have, an average of all these student activities. Okay. Communicate. This is kind of like your little inbox area. You can compose a new email, and you will be able to compose it by clicking on the 2. When people have registered, you will be able to see. Now, it will also, if you have more than one Spanish lab or if you have a math lab, it will show you all the classes that you have. You would click on the appropriate class and add recipients. Okay, it's just another way of emailing. Okay, so that's a brief overview. And again, you have your e-text up here. And verb chart, glossary, user guide, and more resources. So please let me know if you have any questions. Gracias.